Alright, welcome to Lesson 3 of Unit 3, Direct Variation. Now, direct variation is a way of explaining and a way of problem solving. So the definition of direct variation is when two quantities, y and x, have a constant ratio, k, they are said to have direct variation. So our two topics have to have something in common. They have that constant ratio that they're both going to be sharing. Now here I have two examples of how a direct variation problem might start out with its wording. It says y varies directly as x, and we see that we get the equation y equals k, the constant, times x. Or a varies directly as b, and we see that a equals kb. Now what I want you to do is, in your group, I want you to discuss why is it that the way that we word it and the way that our equation comes out the way they do. Does the wording matter with the equation? So go ahead and discuss that with your group by pausing the video now. What I was hoping you saw is that if you look at the wording for the first one, this y varies directly as x, you see that y is the first thing mentioned, and y is on the left side of the equal sign. Same thing happens over here. A is mentioned first, and A is the first thing, and it's all alone on the left of the equal sign. And that's kind of how you know. If you wanted to break these down into words, just think about y as just y. Think about this very directly as your k. So this is basically what our k is. And it's as x or as b. So whatever it's as, that tells you that's what it's being multiplied with. So let's go ahead and do some example problems. The first one I'll do with you, and then there's a couple that I want you to try with your group. So it says, suppose y varies directly as x, and y equals 16 when x equals 8. Find y when x equals 16. So, we want to find y, but we're missing something. There's three parts to all of these equations. There's the y, the x, and then there's the k, the constant. Well, we don't know what k is. We need to find k, and that's what that first sentence is going to tell us. It says, suppose y varies directly as x, and y equals 16 when x equals 8. So if y varies directly as x, we know that y equals k times x. Well, this part right here gives us something to substitute in for y and x. So we're going to do that. So we get 16 equals k times 8, and then we solve for k. So we divide by 8, and we get that k equals 2. So that's the first step. The second step is to rewrite our y equals kx, except we're going to replace that k with the number we just got. So now we can use this to answer this question. We want to find y when x equals 16. Well, all we're going to do is we're going to replace x with 16 and then solve the problem. So we get that y equals 32. So now I want you to go ahead, pause the video, and work through number 2 with your group. So do that now. Okay, so we're doing y varies directly as x again. So y equals kx, and we can replace that with 21 equals k times 3. We solve for k. We get that k equals 7. So now we know that y equals 7x, and we're going to find x when y equals 42. So we're going to substitute in 42 equals 7x, then we just solve for x. Divide by 7, and we get that x equals 6. Alright, here's 2 more examples. I want you to pause the video and try with your group now. Okay, and here are the solution to those 2 examples. So go ahead, pause the video again, and look over the work that I did and compare that to yours. So do that now. Then we have just 2 more things to talk about. We're going to do some direct variation word problems. These are a little bit more in depth with your problem solving skills. So I'll go through this first one with you, and then I have one for you to try with your group. So it says a local fast food restaurant takes in $9,000 in a 4-hour period. First, write a direct variation equation between income and number of hours. Now this is a bit different than what we've been doing. We're not given some numbers to mess around with to go ahead and find K. But the nice thing about this is that we can find K right away. And we need to look at the way that part A is worded. Write a direct variation equation between income and number of hours. So it's income and number of hours. So it's going to be income over hours is what our K is going to be. So our income was $9,000 over 4 hours. So there is our K. 9,000 over 4. And we can simplify that. K equals 2,250. So now we can write the actual equation. So I'm just going to use I for income equal to 2,250 and then H for hours. And there we have our equation. Part B says estimate how many hours it will take to earn $20,250. So this is like the second part of our examples before. We're going to use this equation and we're going to substitute in where we're supposed to. So 20,250, that is our dollars, that's our income. So we're going to substitute that in for Y equals 2,250H, and then we just solve for H. If we do that, we get that H equals 9 hours. And don't forget to put in the correct unit there. You know that H equals 9 hours. Alright, so here is an example for you to try with your group, so go ahead, pause the video and do that now. And here is the answers to that example, so go ahead, pause the video again and discuss with your group about your results and what you see here, and after you do that, the video is over.